Here air is a very interesting topic for me, body language. And how do you understand when a person is lying to you? We all sometimes become paranoid, suspecting loved ones of infidelity, children of small lies, work partners of betrayal, and so on. Who keeps this to themselves? Someone openly torments themselves with these endless guesses. But it's difficult for everyone to recognize lies using micro-expressions, changes in voice, or vegetative signs. Well, there's blushing, rapid breathing, so I dug into this topic and I'm ready to share this information with you. Today, we're going to play detective and uncover everything that is hidden. But I must warn you right away, if you suddenly think of yourself as Sherlock, lying is not a separate psychological process with its unique behavioral indicators. It's difficult to determine when a person is lying and when they are telling the truth because they can be nervous due to pressure and psychological tension. It's very difficult, and we should keep that in mind when using the advice we will discuss further. I always warned my men that if they felt the need to anger me and confess to cheating, it wouldn't end well. So, we made an agreement. I never go through his phone, and he remained silent about his adventures until death. That's how it was. Even if I come home and find her on top of him in our bed, I don't need that. But my suspicion never went away. So, it's impossible to say for sure if everything that happened to me was honest. What do you think? Does a person hurt others with such truth? If yes, write a plus in the comments. If you also don't need such truth, like me, write a minus in the comments. If your suspicion has already annoyed everyone, it's time to reinforce it with scientific evidence. Let's figure it out. So, recognizing lies by facial expressions and eyes. Here's what I noticed in some men when they clearly lied to me. At the beginning, they would frown as if they were thinking about something very unpleasant. And do you know why? Subconsciously, a person who lies experiences a sense of disaster, which is expressed externally by raising their eyebrows, causing wrinkles on the forehead. But you can also catch more important hints in micro-expressions, such as asymmetry and different manifestations of emotion on the right and left sides of the face. This inconsistency is a sign that the emotions are fabricated, not genuine. So, if your girl gets upset when talking about a pajama party at her childhood friend's place, I would express my doubts and see how this cunning person tries to wriggle out. But these two fellows, they are not friends at all. If there's something to hide, as researchers claim, liars often touch their nose more often than a person telling the truth. This may be due to the adrenaline rush in the capillaries of the nose, causing itching and obvious signs of lying, such as covering the nose with a hand, rubbing the nose, rubbing the neck, or touching it. Well, and covering the ear. I'm telling you this right now, there's a guy in front of me who keeps scratching and scratching, it's scary. However, don't forget about the baseline behavior and keep in mind that wanting to scratch your neck or nose can simply be a natural desire. The movement of the eyes is not a reliable indicator of lying. If a right-handed person looks up and to the left, it corresponds to imagination, and up and to the right corresponds to memory. Although the postulate that a person looks away during a conversation when lying is actively criticized as a tool. And now let's talk about how we give ourselves away. Our body perspires, but I've already mentioned that this sign is not always accurate. However, statistics insist that a person who lies sweats more than a truthful person. We unconsciously nod our heads to confirm our words or agree with something. When we lie, there is a delay between our words and head nodding. So, if your conversation partner loses synchrony, pay attention to the following signs: excessive restlessness, nervousness, inability to sit still, or, on the contrary, choosing an unnatural posture during the conversation, smoothing hair, fidgeting with clothes, or squeezing something in their hands. Well, that's it. We're either talking nonsense or noticed excessive salivation and hear increased breathing. This suspicious person is walking on thin ice. A person starts breathing faster to oxygenate their brain, which is necessary for orientation in a critical situation. Excessive salivation is associated with the release of adrenaline, hence the frequent swallowing. Pay attention to the person's movements. A truthful person leans towards the interlocutor, while a liar moves away. During a conversation, we unconsciously mirror the gestures of the other person to make them like us. When we were children, it was a subconscious reaction. There's also a sign of covering vulnerable parts of the body. When a person feels that they are doing something socially unacceptable, like lying, they start to defend themselves by covering their neck, groin, or crossing their arms over their chest or hiding their hands in their pockets. This works actively because the autonomic nervous system, over which a person has very weak control, is involved. We often give ourselves away in a conversation, like when we all agreed on something. But it would be better if we stayed silent. Pay attention to the person's voice, changes in speed and tone from normal or hesitation before answering, sudden stuttering, long pauses, or, on the contrary, excessive talkativeness. When asked simple questions that require a direct and short answer, a liar starts to clarify unnecessary details and often seeks support with your agreement. Pay attention to the person's behavior throughout the conversation. What is their emotional reaction? It can range from pretending to be careless to aggressively indignant. Don't fall for frequent compliments, sudden topic changes after uncomfortable questions, diverting attention to insignificant details to distract from suspicion and confuse you. But you can try to expose the liar. Here are a couple of tips. Remember the answers to the questions and ask the same questions later to compare their words. Liars often get confused, interrupt their sentences, or joke about uncomfortable questions. They often use the same mechanical answers. Ask the person to repeat what they said, but in reverse order. A truthful person will do it without any problems, while a liar will start to remember and get confused because the information is not yet fixed in their memory. Another example of confusion is inconsistency in places, dates, and times of events. To notice them, you just need to be attentive. Of course, none of these signs of changes in the activity of the autonomic nervous system, which lie detectors fix, can be considered 100% proof of lying. And there is no absolute guarantee of truthfulness either. Such knowledge is used by scammers who convince their victims that they have caught them in a lie and use them by professional poker players, giving false signals. For example, a poker player, when bluffing, will cough for a long time to make it seem like they are bluffing. Opponents, confident in their insight, associate it with bluffing, which turns out to be a mistake. When tensions in the game reach their peak, the deceiver coughs again, but this time they are not bluffing. This allows them to turn the game around and win. I remind you that now I'm going to quickly go through the questions about my loved ones. No method gives a 100% guarantee of detecting lies. So, of course, if you think everything matches, don't immediately accuse. Make your own conclusions and, if necessary, observe and try to clarify all your suspicions in a dialogue. Don't forget that many physiological elements that are recommended for determining lies, such as increased sweating or dryness in the throat, can be present due to individual characteristics. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. Happy watching!